Peace everybody, back with another video. This is Hong Kong Mother's Day protest ends with riot. Police confrontation at shopping mall. And as you can see here, here's the video for it. I'm not going to play the video because TMZ is real petty about their videos being played without permission. But you can imagine what the mall is like. Mother's Day was brutal in Hong Kong after riot police went wild on protesters at a shopping mall, mercilessly pinning a child on the ground. So Mother's Day ended with a brutal in Hong Kong. And of course, the police went wild on protesters at a shopping mall, mercilessly pinning a child on the ground. Now, why are the police touching children when they're not supposed to? They're not supposed to be wrestling children to the ground whatsoever. The children are innocent. The police have no right to be pinning a child to the ground. It was supposed to be a protest against human rights violations, with organizers calling for independence. They're also demanding the city's leader step down. Yes, so the people of Hong Kong, they were protesting for their human rights violations. And of course, with the organizers calling for independence, they don't want to be locked down anymore in Hong Kong. They're tired of it. So this is why they have protests in Hong Kong. Because the government that they have are evil as well. But then again, all governments are evil. So it's not just one country, it's all countries. They're not playing fair with anybody. They are lying to people constantly. Oh, we're going to extend the lockdown. We're going to extend the eviction notice. We're going to extend this and extend that. They've been doing way too much. And, you know, it's time people do need to take the country back, because these shadow governments are not who you think they are. They only think they care about you, but they don't. And of course, here's a police officer had wrestled a child to the ground. Now, this child has done nothing wrong except protest with his parents. And this cop had the nerve to wrestle a child to the ground, which is totally disgusting for a police officer to do this. Remember in China when an employee had turned a customer away because they were afraid that person was going to be the carrier of the C-19 virus? Remember that? And then China all of a sudden said, oh, we apologize for any COVID. No, they're not sorry for what they did. They did what they did because they thought the customer was the carrier of the C-19 virus, and that's not true at all. But in this case, this is Hong Kong, what the officer is doing to a child of color, and I am totally sickened by this. This is not a natural thing for a police officer to do. No cop should ever put their hand on a child, ever. A gaggle of cops descended on the mall and broke up the crowd, but it got very intense and very physical. The most shocking image, a small child held down on the ground with what appears to be a significant pressure. Alright, so this officer put significant pressure on a child. Seriously, this officer should not be manhandling a child ever. You can do it to a parent, but you cannot do it to a child. It's sickening. It's ridiculous what this officer is doing. And of course, the parents are going to end up suing this officer or have the officer investigated for mishandling a child like this just because he's of color. What kind of officer do you think this is? This is not a good officer. This is a bad one. The police is corrupt over there in Hong Kong, same way with other countries as well. Authorities denied an application for the protest a few days ago, citing concerns over C-19 virus. Alright, so the authorities denied an application for the protest, but Hong Kong wasn't gonna, the people of Hong Kong was not going to put up with it anymore. So they decided, oh, we're gonna go out and protest for our freedom and our rights. So that's exactly what they did. This is what they wanted, because they got tired of all these evil people over there in Hong Kong to extending these lockdowns. Oh, you can't go here, you can't go there, you gotta stay home, you gotta wash your hands. Come on, really? The city was convulsed by 7 straight months of often violent protests last year, with millions hitting the streets. So last year they had like millions hitting the street. All right, last year. All right, the city was convulsed by 7 straight months and often violent protests. Um, and of course, you know, the protests are still going to continue in Hong Kong because they want their freedom and they want their rights back. And they want the one person to step down from all of this because they're tired of it. They don't want to deal with it anymore. They're sick of it. And you know, I mean, I'm just so sickened by this officer manhandling a child like this. I mean, how can something like this go on? If you can't get to the parent, this is what they do. And it's sickening. Leave your comments below. I am out.